All right, Nick, let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is a team who really came into last season. A lot of questions unanswered. No one knew how they're going to do, but I think they got really, really hot, and people actually started to see how good this team could be, getting all the way to the divisional round of the playoffs last year. This team was really, really exciting to watch. But I think there's one player in particular on that team, Nick, that is ready to break out and have this be their coming out party.
Yeah, Miles, I think this report you dug up will highlight exactly why Jaguars fans should be really excited going to 2023 and beyond. But before we get into that report, Jacksonville fans, going to ask you a question that you need to answer, as always, in the comment section below. Look, this franchise has been around since the mid-90s, a lot of big-time stars, but we're not going to focus on the stars right now. We're going to focus on the grinders, the lunch pail guys, the day-to-day guys that didn't get the accolades they deserved when they were playing for Jacksonville, but they really should have because they were quality, tough players. So give us your example of a Jacksonville Jaguars grinder in the comment section below. Brian, Miles, what you got? What's the latest update out of Jacksonville?
Yeah, Nick. Unfortunately, the person who we're going to talk about today is definitely not a, everyman, not average Joe. This is a bona fide superstar in the making, and I dare say a potential MVP candidate for next year. I think this is going to be a really big story for the Jaguars. We're talking about none other than Trevor Lawrence. I'm going to get into the article here really quick, and we'll go from there. So this over on PFF, they brought this up, and I think it was a really good point to get us out into our talking points. It says from week 9 onward, however, Trevor Lawrence posted a 90.0 grade and trailed only Joe Burrow, and Patrick Mahomes. Perhaps more importantly, his stats were also night and day from his previous baseline. This was talking about the disparity in the beginning of the season, pre-week 9, to after the season, post-week 9. Until week 8 of the second season, Lawrence averaged 6.2 yards per attempt, completed 60.5% of his passes, and recorded a 3.3% big-time throw rate, all of which skyrocketed after week 9 of his second season. He totaled only 3 fewer big-time throws in the second half of last season than he did in his entire career to that point. Critically, that uptick in performance also led to wins. The Jaguars went 7-2 to finish out the regular season. Their only losses came to a Kansas City team and a really hot Detroit Lions team as well. They reeled off 5 straight victories to end the season and knocked off the LA Chargers in the playoffs before coming up short again against a very, very tough Chiefs team. We already know they went to go on and win the Super Bowl, so no shame in that loss as well. The Jaguars entered 2023 season as the AFC South favorites, as I think they should be, Nick. But there was something was brought up, Nick, only behind Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes, and we'll talk about the skyrocketing of Trevor Lawrence's stats at that week 9 point of this season. I have a little graph here that I brought up. This shows Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, and Trevor Lawrence all after that week 9 part of the season and kind of where they're averaging. So we saw Lawrence averaging about 6 yards per attempt before that part of the season. Now 7 yards per attempt with 20 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. This guy really went off. He had a 67.7% completion percentage. He looked really, really good. I think he really started to get it the second half of the season. This is all without talking about the addition of Calvin Ridley. What do you think about Lawrence, Nick? I really want to know your thoughts on all this. But before we go there, I want everyone to stay tuned to the end of today's video to hear word from our partner of the video, and that is, of course, Neuro. They have a lot of great products to give you a quick and easy boost of energy. So stay tuned to hear more about Neuro and their products and to get your hands on our discount code. But, Nick, go on. What do you think about Trevor Lawrence? How does this all lay out for you?
So I think it's an outstanding sign for Jacksonville going forward. I want to focus on one category specifically on the chart you have pulled up here, Mice, and that's the BTTs or big time throws, because that's what really stands out to me in terms of being an elite quarterback, an MVP quarterback. Because a lot of quarterbacks, especially good quarterbacks, the top half of the NFL, they can all do the ordinary things. They can read the defense, they can hit the check down, they can execute a drive, they can run a 2-minute offense. Everybody from Kirk Cousins to Patrick Mahomes can do that and have a certain amount of success. But what separates the Kirk Cousins from the Pat Mahomes is the ability to make the plays that nobody else can. And those are the big time throws. Those are the back-breaking throws. And Trevor Lawrence he had actually tied with Joe Burrow with the exact same amount after that week 9 point of the regular season last year, a little bit more than Mahomes actually. That is a great sign for Jacksonville because their overall production is going to go up. Obviously, when you add a guy like Ridley into the fold, I think Etienne's going to have a huge season. I think he's going to break out as well. But But when you factor in the ability to have those big time throws, those back-breaking plays from the quarterback position, that's what can push you over the top. That's why the Chiefs are so hard to beat. That's why the Bengals are so hard to beat. And that's why the Bills are so hard to beat, because they have guys that are just like cheat codes. Trevor Lawrence, the second half of last season, while he was better protecting the football, better at managing the offense, he became kind of a cheat code in his own right as well. We saw it, of course, again, the comeback victory against the Chargers in the wild card round. I think if that trend continues, and there's no reason to think it won't, Jacksonville won't just be the favorite in the AFC South. They'll be a favorite at the top of the AFC, up there with the Bengals and the Chiefs. I think what we have right now in the AFC, if you look forward about the next 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to come down to these three guys: Mahomes, Burrow, and Lawrence. And these big time throws are the indicator of that.
Yeah, Nick, and I think one last point I failed to bring up is we talk about this. He did all of this with a slightly below average offensive line, and we got to remember they added first-round pick Anton Harrison from Oklahoma in as their right tackle now. So much improved offensive line for the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence looks very dangerous.
All right, Miles, we would like to give a special thanks to our partner in today's video, Neuro.
That's right, Nick. And I want you to go with me on a journey really fast. I want you to imagine this. It's 4th and goal in the big game, Nick. Your team is relying on you to make the big-time game-winning play. I know you've been in this situation before, Nick. The stadium is roaring. The clock is ticking. The game is on the line. But if only in that moment you were able to have some Neuro Gum. Neuro Gum will help you stay concentrated, and it gives you a burst of energy without a nasty crash.
That's right, Miles. Neuro has thoughtfully curated ingredients and does endless lab testing, which means that you can reach the right state of mind safely and consistently. That's the most important part. It gives you a clean burst of energy and focus without the jitters of coffee or any of those other energy drinks.
That's right, Nick. And if you click our sponsor link in the description below, you can enjoy energy, calm, and focus whenever you need it.